We're going live. Let's see how the sound comes out live on the YouTube.
I bet it's going to be great. I have
I
a
bet
lot
it
of faith
will.
in it.
It'll actually the sound on YouTube sounded better than the sound that I recorded, but I got it set to the right one now. So
Goodness gracious me, oh my.
live
That sounds good.
sounds good to me.
Some people who have us like set to like ding when they like they're subscribed, they're
Uh-huh.
gonna like at all of a sudden be like sleeping and be like,
Yeah, they're
what?
like, "What the heck?
BanthaMilk.
Why is I gotta check it out. BanthaMilk's
Yep.
coming on."
Especially like Joe out in Singapore, he's probably just waking up.
He is. He's like,
Actually, it's
"Yes."
like 12 hours exactly, so he might be at work by now.
Oh.
But he works probably at a computer, so there's a good
Right.
chance
So he could have it on and uh listen.
he's only a chemical engineer. How important could his job be?
Chemical engineer, the guys that weld submarines together, really, I mean, their job's pretty easy.
I mean, I could do it.
Yeah, I could do it.
I put together like when I was a kid when my dad used to do the model rocket thing.
It's the same thing.
He did a really good job putting them together.
See,
And I watched.
and you watched.
I tried to help, but he would yell at me. But hey, I watched.
But you watched. You said, "But can I? This is a group project, Dad."
Yeah,
No,
sure. No.
no, not for
Just
you.
hold the flashlight. No, I can't see. You're not pointing it up right. Having Vietnam style flashbacks right
That's
now.
right. That's right.
This
All
is
right.
Quality content for
Quality content for YouTube.
the
All right, I'm going to
Patreon.
start for Patreon. Oh, drink. We'll talk about that real fast. Isn't it a margarita?
I don't know what it is.
Do you want to just join us over here?
Oh, Trey.
But I learned it includes a tour of the Skywalker Vineyards.
No, that's different.
No, it's included with the price. The $5,000 drink includes a private tour of the Skywalker Vineyards.
I mean, I gotta say, if I'm paying $5,000 for a drink, I would expect at least something. To come
Okay,
with it.
because there was something else that was I don't know. Okay, all right.
Our field reporters are kind of lacking
I
in their
know.
detail work.
All right.
My ice is melting.
All right. Let's go.
Let's add some other liquids to it.
Here we go. On this episode of BanthaMilk Podcast, Rob talks all about his trip to Walt Disney World.
And Nick is really jealous.
Intro music.
Wait, that's not it.
What? He's no good to me, Dad.
Intro music. Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Yes, it is.
It's
very complicated.
Yes, indeed. Although podcasting is getting less complicated.
We're finally
like
got
we
a
get
system
up and running every
Mhm.
time quicker than we
Yep.
than before.
We got it. I think we got it worked out now.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've been here, but we are back for another
We are
episode
back.
of BanthaMilk Podcast.
Remix.
And apologies, I see Rob once again has a pretty rad Star Wars shirt on.
Oh no, this is just a
Oh, it is.
brand.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. What is that? Under Armour?
It's Under
Honest to
Armour.
God, I thought it was like a graphic image of Vader's chest piece.
It could be. It could look like that. Yeah.
From this top. Anyway, you had me fooled.
Well, there you go.
I'm
Under
just coming
Armour
from the
tricked you.
restaurant
Yeah.
and I smell like fried food. I today, what did we do? I cracked 30, 60 times 5, 300 eggs.
Okay.
Made a bunch of waffle batter. Anyway, yeah, a lot of breakfast.
A lot
stuff.
of breakfast
But
stuff.
we're
at
here not
9:00 at night.
Well, I was done by 9. I was here
Okay.
by 9. But I was making.
So what time does the restaurant close?
Closes at around 1:30
In the afternoon.
in the afternoon. 1:30.
So you
2
were
o'clock.
prepping
I
this
l-
whole time for
every-
the next morning.
Yeah. So whenever I go in after they close, usually around 3,
Okay.
and then I'll be there usually till today was a quick day. We were out by 7.
Okay.
But most days 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm making either the other day Pagan literally cooked 90 pounds of bacon.
All to get ready for the next morning.
Next morning, I made 12 loaves of banana bread from Banana Bread French Toast. And
Okay.
stuff, so yeah, we do the stuff that you have to do at night. Otherwise, there's just not enough room.
Not enough room and
during-
time in the morning to
Yeah.
Okay. So I was very confused when you were like, I'm coming from the restaurant. I knew the restaurant was a breakfast place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's not that pancakes at 8:00 at night are a bad thing,
Yeah.
but is it that popular to have pancakes at 8:00 at night?
No. But yeah, so that's my shift and it's great too, honestly, because number 1, I work with my wife, and number 2, it's just us.
Right.
So it's literally we bring a little speaker and we put on Netflix, and we're just hanging out.
There you go.
Cooking, and my parents live upstairs, so today they made dinner.
Okay.
So
there
we
you go.
went upstairs, we had dinner.
Nice.
Can't complain too much. But
Very nice.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we're a podcast about Star Wars.
we are, if you didn't
And-
know,
and-
and food.
and food and beverage, and I'm gonna crack this open while Rob makes me even more jealous than I already am, because this whole episode is dedicated to Rob's recent jaunt.
Yes.
Rob took a journey to a galaxy far, far away.
Far, far away. I went to Batu, but before I did that, I'm having some more Little Dog Duck Boy American Pale Ale. Once again, this was recommended a couple weeks ago. Nick is over there with more whiskey.
Oh yeah,
Nick's
my
favorite.
bullet. Go-to.
So here's our BanthaMilk. Oh dear.
Oh man, you started that one off pretty boldly, Rob.
I did. I was very aggressive on this one. Now I have to slow it down a little bit.
Oh man,
Oh, bummer.
more head on that
Alright.
than Medusa, my friend.
Yeah, man. That's
Wait,
crazy.
Medusa, is she the one with the heads?
She has
It's
the
a Hydra.
snakes.
Hydra.
Hydra.
Hydra have a bunch of heads.
Yes.
It was a
So I'm
poorly
just gonna drink it out
worded
of the
metaphor.
can. So here we
Yeah,
go.
Probably for the best, right?
Cheers.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Many happy travels.
Mhm.
Many happy returns, because you're back, right? There you go.
That is right. So before we get into the trip, I want to do let's talk about us and Ears Up and all that good stuff.
Ears
so
up. All
where
that good
can you
stuff.
find us on all this on Facebook at
On Facebook, we are at BanthaMilk Podcast.
that's right. And also Sacred Jedi Text, although
That's right.
we've become very whatever.
Stagnant. We gotta
yeah.
stir things up.
Yeah.
If you're listening right now, and I know you are, because you're listening, you know you're
Yep.
listening. You go on to facebook.com/groups/Sacred Jedi Texts, and I want you to start a post. I don't care what it's about. It could be about your favorite chili recipe.
It could
It could be about Rob's beard and the fact that it is still missing
is
months
missing.
later. I don't know what happened.
It has disappeared.
but
you have to
go
wait
to-
till November for it to come
It's
back
a real
again.
bummer, but you
Yeah.
know, we wait and we persevere once a
Mhm.
year, and
That's
once a
right.
year it makes its glorious
Makes a
return.
nice big return.
But in the meantime, go to facebook.com/group/Sacred Jedi Text and say something right now.
Yep.
Go. That's your homework assignment.
That's your
if you
homework
don't, you're
assignment.
fired.
Do it now. Do it. Do it
Live.
now.
Do it live. And I know
Uh,
some of you who like listen. So I will know specifically if you don't.
That's right. We're
Or
also
else-
on Twitter, so you can check us
Yeah,
out on
Twitter
Twitter
at BanthaMilk.
At
That's
BanthaMilk.
us.
We're also on Instagram
BanthaMilk
at
Podcast.
BanthaMilk Podcast, and I'm actually going to start after the show. I'll throw up some pictures
Don't throw up.
daily.
Don't throw
I'll
up,
just.
buddy.
So my daughter does that. That's her like thing. If she doesn't like something,
She'll
she
fake vomit.
fakes vomit, and it's the most repulsive thing ever. I'm like, you have to stop.
Just
doing
the
that.
way she does it
Just
specifically.
because
or
like
does it
she's
just-
like,
that
and I'm like,
specifically
oh, I'm
thing
like,
is not
yeah,
your thing.
it's not my thing.
Or is
no.
your daughter just specifically does it in a way that is grotesque?
No, I think it's just my thing. Like
Okay.
I'm
You
just
don't
like
like that.
totally grossed out by that
Okay,
sound. And I'm
that's
like,
fair.
you could just as easily say I
Gross.
don't like it or gross, but
Ew.
instead you got to go "Ooh," and
Yeah.
like, oh, so
Sorry, buddy.
sorry. So there
A lot
we
of
go.
Vietnam style flashbacks happening in our
I know,
in
right?
our
It's
thing
a
today.
lot of flashbacks on for our behalf today. Instagram at BanthaMilk
BanthaMilk
Podcast.
Podcast.
Yep, and
Email
then
us, banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com, and you can go to our website.
BanthaMilkPodcast.com.
Yes, indeed.
That's right. And also check out Ears Up, our
With a
parent
Z.
organization with the Z, Ears Up Podcast, earsup-podcast.com. Check out those guys over at Sacred Jedi Text. They actually did
You mean
or not Sacred Jedi Text, Supreme,
Supreme
Resort.
Resort.
Yeah, Supreme Resort. They did it was a 2-part because they talk a lot. They talk way more than we do. It was a 2-part episode on
they're not as sleepy as I am. I
They're
always
not
get-
no.
It's because they don't have booze with them.
That's right. to
By the
slow
time
them
we're
down.
a drink down in, we're like, okay,
Hold
on, are we done?
We're just so nice and relaxed.
that's it.
A 2-part episode on Pirates of the Caribbean. It was
However you
really
wanna
good
say it.
comparing the two of them
Tomato,
against each
tomato.
other. Tomato, tomato.
Right. Yeah, sure. And for those of you who don't know, right, their whole shtick, their whole shebang is they take the rides in the different disparate Disney parks,
Yep.
and they compare and contrast.
Yep. So they find out which one is the best one. So it's fun. So check them out, even though they make fun of us and we make fun of them. But we're still friends.
I mean, who doesn't love a good taco?
Who
right?
doesn't love a good taco? That's right. So that's that. News. I have some personal news, which I'm going to share with you guys.
Bonk.
All right. So, and maybe since Trey's sitting over there,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
might be able to check this out for us real fast. He can be our fact checker.
The incomparable Trey over there.
Yes,
who,
he
who
is-
doesn't want to share the limelight.
He does not.
He's the man behind the shadows there, and that's fine. Everyone needs someone to be the puppet master.
That's
So,
right. So he's like producer Trey over there, but he's
I
just
like
going to throw in his 2 cents because I already forget everything, all the fun stuff that we did
Love
in
it.
the parks. But he
Our minds
remembers.
are filled with a lot of weird stuff, man.
That is
His
true.
his mind hasn't been clouded with
Right.
weirdness yet.
With 48 years of weirdness yet.
Yeah.
So,
Give it time, man.
there's a new book out, fairly new book out, Star Wars book. Can you Google and find out Princess Leia wedding and what book she gets married in? Because this book, which is from
many
many,
ago.
many moons ago, in a 2000 that starts with a 0. Actually,
Oh.
even the
90s.
cover is from 95.
Okay.
So I don't know, somewhere in the 90s this book came out. But this one's called The Courtship of Princess Leia. I started
That was
reading it
before TikTok, Trey.
Yes, I started reading it a long time ago, and then I stopped, and then I finished it up while we were on our vacation. But here's the back of it. Um, George Lucas brought us this blockbuster Star Wars film trilogy. Then some of the science fiction's best writers expand the adventures in their best-telling Star Wars novels. Now the tradition continues with the culminating of a love story that spans a war-torn galaxy. Though Darth Vader and the Emperor are dead, the Empire lives on, and weakened alliance must find powerful new help if it is to survive. The answer could lie in the HAPES Consortium, a cluster of 63 high-tech worlds. There is only one catch. Princess Leia must marry the Queen Mother's son. The dashing and wealthy prince, I kept reading it to myself, Isildur, but I'm sure it said some other different way than that.
How's it spelled?
Isolder.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, good. Han Solo reacts badly to the news,
Well, as one would.
Tricking Leia, he flees with her to the beautiful but untamed, tricking her.
Wait, hold on. I just want to interrupt really quickly because tricking her and whisking away is a fun way of saying kidnapped.
And that's what they talk about in the book, that he does kidnap her.
That's a fun way of saying
it's a fun way of saying he kidnaps her. Flees her to the beautiful but untamed planet of Dathomir.
Dathomir.
Which is funny because Dathomir was in Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah, and it's also in Clone Wars all over the place.
Yeah.
It's in Jedi Fallen Order. They've been leaning into Dathomir.
Yeah, so it's and the Night Sisters and what's the other
Night Brothers?
No, there's another tribe of people on the planet, but they're not the Night Sisters. But anyway, this book winds up being more of a battle between the Night Sisters and the other ones than anything else. Where he hopes to change her mind and win her heart. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker and R2 form an unlikely partnership with the jilted prince to track down the runaways, but their mission is only the beginning of an adventure that will lead to the discovery of an awesome treasure, a group of force-trained witches, and a showdown with an invincible foe. So
that's pretty cool that we're getting kind of the backstory on like where the Night Sisters come from and stuff like before the new canon reset.
Right. So it was very cool. I read it as saying like in this book she's going to get married to either Han Solo or this other guy. So I'm reading the whole thing. Did you find the other book? What's the other book's name?
There's a whole like thing. It says incoming transition. Save the date for the wedding of Princess Leia and Han Solo and the Princess and the Scoundrel.
The Princess and the Scoundrel.
Sounds like a Disney movie.
Yes, it's
like an animated. That could be the first Star Wars animated like Pixar movie.
Yeah. One dog has like buns. The ears are like buns.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
The other dog,
for whatever reason, it's still all set in the Star Wars universe.
Right. And the other dog has a vest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there for it, actually.
Exactly. I'm in.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'm reading this book. I was reading this book, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see in not canon. Yeah, the canon. What's the canon's the old one, right?
That's pre-canon.
Pre-canon.
Like expanded universe or extended universe.
Yes. So I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how she gets married in this versus the new book that's now canon and all this stuff. And spoiler alert for a book that came out in the 90s. It ends at the very end and it just says, and they got married and they lived happily ever after.
That's literally it.
That's literally it. Like, there's no, like, I'm waiting for like a big wedding, you know, and whatever. They're like, no, they get married. I'm like,
just like Han and Leia.
And Leia get married. Yeah. And I'm like, really?
We don't get to see it.
We don't get to see it.
We don't see the guests. We don't have any
nothing about the guests.
Like whether Luke got drunk at the
at the reception. Who was the best
on a
man?
droid?
Yeah.
Lando would hit on the droid.
Lando would totally hit on the droid. He would be taking 3 of the bridesmaids back to his room with him. Brides droids. But yeah, but it comes to an end and it's just like, oh, and then they get married. And I'm like, really? So it was a good book.
So you're saying The Princess and the Scoundrel is the one where they actually
get married. I was really hoping that they got married in this first. And I was going to be able to compare the two.
Okay.
But they just say they get married. Now I have a new book about them.
That's pre-canon reset as well.
That's pre-canon reset as well. Okay. And then when I finished that book, I started reading this one, The Millennium Falcon, which is from 2008.
And that's like about like where like how it came into Han's hands and stuff.
Yeah,
But
like
before the canon reset
before the canon reset. So they do talk about how he wins it
in Sabak.
in Sabak
Mhm.
against Lando.
Right.
But this is more a lot of backstory, and it's half of it is told 40 years in the future. So in pre-canon, do you know how many kids Han and Leia have?
At least 3.
Yeah.
Because there's Jason, not Mara, because Mara's the one who, Jason, Ben, and Anakin.
I don't think it was Anakin, but it was definitely Jason, Ben, and there's definitely a third one. It's a
It might be a
weirder name.
girl.
It's a girl, yes. So in this book, according to that, the one that goes bad, the one that basically is like Ben,
Jason.
yeah, Jason,
Yeah.
also has a kid.
Jaina Solo.
Jaina, there we
Yep.
go. Yeah, so Jason's
Yeah,
kid,
Jason became like a Sith Lord, I want to say.
yes. And then so he dies also and before this book, and they wind up in this book, they adopt his kid and tell everybody basically that she's their kid.
Right.
So this is a fun book. It goes back and forth in the timeline. Um and like so Han's trying to find out, for some reason he just wants to find out all the people that own the Millennium Falcon before him.
Right.
And then the B story is this other people are trying to find the Millennium Falcon now, and it keeps going back and forth. And it's a lot of fun. So this is a fun book, but I just found it fun how in pre-canon, Han and Leia have 3 kids. One turns bad, the other 2 are not bad.
Right.
But then when they went to canon, they said, "Oh, we're going to change it up a little bit," and it's just fun how the canon story, and even like Dave Filoni's doing it a lot now, where he's pulling things from
Yeah.
pre-canon, but maybe altering it a little bit.
I think that started happening in more earnest after like the Force Awakens came out. So like we got Ben Solo, and that was like a kind of a nod to Ben, so like the Ben that came before, and that was kind of cool. But like that was about all the similarity we got. But
Yeah.
like the more Filoni has been involved, and the more like kind of smaller scale projects we've gotten instead of the big blockbuster movies like the TV shows and stuff.
Right.
The more of those we've had, I think the more they've been able to, I don't know, I guess maybe bring some of that stuff in.
Yeah. Even like at the last episode of Kenobi,
Mhm.
when he's walking around with the goggles on his neck,
Right.
that's
a callback.
A callback to
Mhm.
the comics that are supposed to take place after these episodes end. So he's really trying to wrap everything together between canon and non-canon and all that good stuff. And
They got a late start to the Marvel effect or the Marvel treatment. I'm
yes.
hoping they're writing that ship now.
Yes.
I think even now people are getting sick of Marvel even. Though
Yeah.
I haven't seen the multiverse yet. I still really need to see it. It's on Disney
Okay.
Plus now. but I
And
hear
we
it's really
also,
good.
Trey and I and Cameron went and we saw
Thor,
the
I
new
hear
Thor
new Thor
movie.
was good.
I liked it.
Mhm.
Once again, I had the same mentality that we have with Star Wars, which is I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And it entertained me.
Yeah.
I had fun. There was a lot of like dumb jokes in it that I liked. Trey, on the other half, didn't feel that the plot was strong enough.
Okay.
And you weren't as impressed with the dumb jokes as I was. You thought that they were too dumb. I liked the dumb jokes. He didn't like the dumb jokes.
It's fair.
Which is
I mean, they're probably just as dumb as the old Thor movies, but you're older now, so they seem more dumb to you now. And like you'll get to be our age, and you'll like start to like that sort of dumb thing again. But like now, you're like, this is kind of childish and dumb.
yeah.
But it's like just as dumb and just as childish.
Yeah.
You're just not as dumb and childish, like this is
But once
how
you get
life is.
once you get older, and then you're
You
like,
get more dumb and
you get more
childish.
dumb and childish
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, remember when I was young
And
and
dumb and childish.
dumb and childish
That was
so
great.
much fun. It was
That was
great.
great.
But then when you're like a teenager, you're too cool to be dumb and childish. But then when you're 30 and 40 again, you're like, I wish I was dumb and childish
Back
again
to it. Let's
because
do
I
it.
have stupid life holding me down from being dumb and childish.
This is why grown men have Star Wars podcasts.
This is why. This is exactly why.
Anyway,
so that's it for the news. So let's take out of the news. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other news going on. Oh, Trey wanted to say that it's on the Disney Wish now, right? Where you can get the drink. Yeah. So the Disney cruise has a brand new cruise ship, the Disney Wish.
Okay.
Um, I'm sure. So we'll tie it into our story as well. We went to Disney World for 3 days. We went to Animal Kingdom the first day. We went to Hollywood Studios the second day. We went to the Magic Kingdom the third day. We would have gone for 7 days. We love it. But we then surprised the kids by going on a cruise. It was not a Disney cruise. We went on a Norwegian cruise line.
Okay.
We had a lot of fun. It was a
That's
good
Puerto
deal.
Rico, right?
We went to Puerto Rico.
I forgot about the cruise. That's why when I like texted you at like some point in the middle of it, I'm like, "Hey man, are you back?" I completely forgot you were also on the cruise.
Yeah. So I don't know when did you text me that day
Yeah.
when it
It
was
like
days
a day or
before?
two beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't have any Wi-Fi or any service or anything until we pulled into Puerto Rico because it's a U.S.
Your phone blew up.
Yeah, so then only a couple of text
right.
messages. I'm sure I missed a good dozen of them because my Monday night volleyball team, I know that there was 1,000 text messages leading up to that Monday that I totally missed out on. So whatever. But yeah, so you sent, so I was like, oh, just got into port, whatever. So we went to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Norwegian has their own private island in the Bahamas
Oh wow.
that they stop at first. So we stopped there. So it was fun. It was
Pretty
a
rad.
really, really good time. But on the Disney Wish, they now have a drink which is $5,000. And
Must be
right
pretty good.
now, did the first cruise come back yet? Did all those people? So they had an initial cruise that went out. It was for all
Their maiden voyage.
their maiden voyage. It was all for Instagram people and
The
TikTokers,
influencers, yeah.
influencers. I don't know why we didn't get asked because we're,
It's baloney.
I mean, we're
Write
huge
your local
influence.
congressperson.
Yeah,
Tell them you want BanthaMilk on the A list.
yeah, on the A list of all the Disney, Star Wars.
I guess you could also write
influencers.
to Disney.
You could do that as
But
well.
first and foremost, your local congressperson.
Definitely your
wherever you live.
congressman.
I know we have listeners in Singapore.
Yep.
We have listeners in
Italy,
all sorts of different
all
parts of the
different
world and
places.
country. Write your
Yep.
congressperson. Anyway,
Right,
go on.
anyway. So they have a drink that's $5,000 for a drink. Now Trey says that the drink comes with a stop at which
Tour
ranch?
of Skywalker.
Skywalker Ranch.
No, not Skywalker. Skywalker Ranch. I thought you said vineyards.
Well, it is like a vineyard, but it's a ranch.
Because there's Skywalker Ranch, which is where, like, Luke Skywalker, or where George Lucas's like offices are.
Right, where they did all the special effects and stuff
Right.
for the original Star Warses and all that good stuff
So
was
maybe-
on Skywalker Ranch.
Yes, I mean for $5,000, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah.
But
But it's also it's a voucher for one person.
One person.
hey,
You
man,
have to fight over who gets.
it's
to go.
one. I mean, I'm not splitting my $5,000 drink.
Right. And
on,
did you
dude.
see the drink? So the drink has some kind of like
It comes with a
vessel.
It's a Camtono.
Okay.
Do you recognize that?
No.
Yep, that's from Star Wars. That's the ice cream maker. They call that a Camtono.
Oh, okay, all right.
It, like, opens up.
It opens up.
I see. So it's all
Okay.
about the presentation.
Yeah, and I
You
don't.
don't even get to keep it.
You don't get to keep it, but you
Oh.
can buy it. It's
Wait.
another $40 to buy it or
Wait,
something like
you're
that.
spending $5,000 on the liquid,
Yes,
and you can't keep. Wow.
you can't keep the vessel that it comes
There's
in.
so many things I hate about capitalism.
Uh-huh.
You do get a free bottle of sparkling wine.
I hate to tell
Skywalker
you.
Ranch.
I hate to tell you. That ain't free.
No,
Name
that
nothing
was-
free about that bottle of wine.
Yeah, that was $5,000. That bottle
well,
of wine.
considering you got the liquid too, that bottle of wine might have been like $3,200.
Yeah, uh-huh.
You know.
So they have a $5,000 drink. Other than
The amount of glasses I've stolen from bars, I'm taking that Camtono.
you
home with
know
me.
for $5,000.
Take and put it in your purse.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
I think
yeah,
the busser took it away.
I think so. So yeah, so there they go. They love charging you exorbitant amounts of money, $5,000 to go for 36 hours at on the Disney Star Cruiser.
Yeah, wait, we thought that $5,000 was a lot of money for a 3-night stay
Yes.
at a hotel.
Now you're paying
Now
the
we're
same amount
paying
of money
that
for a
much.
drink.
No, let's not forget about the drink. You're paying that much for the liquid of the drink.
Yeah.
Just the liquid.
Just the liquid. So it's like, what is so special about this liquid that is worth $5,000? It's like it better be like,
It is like fancy, but like
yeah, but guess what? You can go to the liquor store, buy all that fancy liquor, maybe for $100, maybe $200.
And that's for the whole bottle.
That's for the
All
whole
the
bottle.
bottles.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like bottle service at a club.
Yep.
Like that bottle of champagne that they're charging you $3,000 for.
But do you know how baller you look when they bring it to you
With the
and
sparklers? Yeah, I
here's
mean the
like,
sparklers cost another $1.25.
Hey man,
Yeah. Yeah, but look at the baller that you are, because you just dropped $5,000 on something that costs $100.
make it rain.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm a baller. So there you go. So you can be a baller on the Disney Wish by
too
you
be a
too.
baller.
Yeah. So I'm dying to see. Oh, and they were talking about this on Ears Up, and they were saying, like when I get a drink or when I get food, you normally tip 20%. So 20% on a $5,000 drink, you're tipping what? How much is that? Quick. $1,000
So now here's the problem with that, because I don't go by percentages when it goes to drinks.
to drinks.
When
Okay.
it's drinks, it's like, okay, I'll leave $2 if
For
I
a
get a
drink,
right?
right.
So if you quantify that out, now drinks are stupid expensive. So if I get like a double whiskey
Mhm.
and they're charging me $15 and I leave $2, that's, what is that? That's
half of a percent.
yeah, it's not much.
It's not much.
But either way, that you're talking me leaving like,
Yeah.
$250 on the table as a tip
Yeah.
or something like that.
And a $250 tip is a lot of money, and they're like, "Psh, that wasn't even 1%.
Yeah, they wouldn't even ring the bell.
Yeah, they won't even ring the bell for that. No.
Screw this guy.
So it's like, this is ridiculous. $5,000 for a drink. But hey, welcome.
At this point, you spent $5,000. What's on the $250?
Right. So it's like, welcome to the wonderful world of Disney.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's the Disney Wish. All right, let's go to.
You're talking about the Star Cruiser. I just found out Disney has the rule where you're not allowed to dress up when you go to the parks. But I found out if you stay on the Star Cruiser, you're allowed to wear costumes into Galaxy's Edge.
But no masks,
Wait,
right?
no mask, but like
You're not allowed to dress up when you go to the parks?
No.
So they.
They're like realistic. Like you're not supposed to. You can't look
Yeah.
like the characters.
Oh, because I guess they could construe it as
Right.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
get
want you
that.
to
They're
think you-
very protective over their IP. That
Yes.
Disney.
So, but people do what they call Disney bounding, where they kind of dress up without technically dressing up. So I had a Disney Hawaiian shirt that I was wearing when we went to the Magic Kingdom, and I said I was Disney bounding as John Lasseter because
Okay.
he always wore Hawaiian shirts.
Okay.
And the people from Supreme Resort were like, "Yeah, that's okay, whatever."
Yeah, sounds about right.
That's, yeah.
They
so,
would say that.
but yeah, so
Snobby.
so what you can do, because when I was on the Supreme Resort talking about Batu, Disney World versus Disneyland, I didn't really have much to add to it at that point in time. But this other guy, RGH, he's been to both multiple times, and he does a lot of Disney bounding. What he does is he'll wear like cargo pants and like some sort of a vest over top of a white button-down shirt, so it kind of looks like Han Solo-esque.
Okay.
Without 100% being Han Solo.
Right.
And they're okay with that. They won't let you wear masks or anything like that, or be completely hidden or look too much like a stormtrooper.
Right.
But if you wore like all white
All
or
white with
some-
like a silly like stormtrooper hat or something.
yeah, like a Mickey ears stormtrooper
Yeah.
hat or like a baseball hat or something like
Yeah.
that, you could get away with it. Now, I did my Disney bounding wearing a BanthaMilk podcast T-shirt
as one would.
and the baseball hat with the Mickey ears of BanthaMilk podcast.
How'd that turn out?
It turned out great. I glued it in. I used hot glue on it, and it turned out wonderful.
Yeah,
first-
hot glue and 3D printing seem to go well.
yeah, like it, because it melts the plastic, and it really
It
adheres
it
to it
becomes
really,
big,
really
yeah.
well. Yeah, so it does a really, really good job. Okay, so let's close the news. We'll
Close
talk
it.
all about the trip right after this commercial break.
I don't know why I made that noise.
It was a fun noise.
It sure was.
It sure was. All right,
And we're back.
and we're back.
We are here.
We're here without making weird noises.
We gather here today.
Well, Avengers hockey.
Yeah, he's
is
been
talking to
hanging. Hey,
us.
buddy.
Good.
Ben
He's
was
been-
Luke and Mara Jade's son. Yeah, that's right. It was Anakin
Yes.
in the book. That's right. In the expanded universe. Thank you.
Remember-
keeping us on, and keeping us
Thank you.
honest. Because Doug probably didn't know we were going to live stream today. So our
fact checker Doug
regularly scheduled fact checker
Yes.
is not in chat. So thanks for helping us out there, Avengers
Thank
Hockey.
you. All right. So, what did we do on the trip? So, we first went to Animal Kingdom. Doesn't really pertain to Star Wars, but
Any Eopies?
We did not see any Eopies. We didn't even see any camels actually.
Bummer.
We did
Which are,
see
of course, Earth Eopies.
yes,
Or
Earth
I guess you could
Eopies.
call Eopies space camels, but whatever.
Space camels. And then the next day we went to Hollywood Studios, and in Hollywood Studios is of course where Batu is, which is Star Wars land.
Which is, of course, the main event.
The main event, yes. So there's two ways to get into Batu.
One is practice.
One is practice.
That's Carnegie Hall, my
There,
bad.
yes.
Go on.
The other way is to pay.
That's it.
So the one entrance you go through a tunnel, which is pretty cool because you're like leaving Earth through this tunnel, and
Like
then
a cave sort of a tunnel, or like a tunnel?
no,
sort
like a
of?
tunnel, like
Okay.
you're walking through like under a bridge type tunnel type thing.
Gotcha.
Um,
When you
w-
walk in, you also pass by the line of people for the 3-hour line for
yes,
Rise of Resistance.
for Rise of the Resistance,
That's
the
what it's down into.
the queue extends out under the
I
tunnel.
just can't imagine spending 3 hours of my day that I spent thousands of dollars to be there standing in line.
In the heat, standing in line in the heat.
This is what Disney has done. This is what capitalism has done to our
This
society.
is what
Disney
capitalism
and
has done.
capitalism. Name
So-
a more iconic duo. Anyway, go on.
So I'm going to tell you, Nick. Nobody else listen, but there
Shh.
is
Earmuffs.
earmuffs. Everybody else earmuffs. There is a secret way around that. Yes, and I don't really know if we should talk too much about it, but if you have a medical disability, you can get a medical disability pass. Some
then.
medical disability passes that have been accepted are irritable bowel syndrome.
That is a disability.
Yes, because you can't stand in line for very long times because you never know when you might have to poop.
Ain't that the truth?
So Mrs. Spear had a medical disability, not for irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah, your wife's about to just like
Yeah, no, she
come down here
yeah.
and talk about
She's
my
like,
bowels.
I don't have a poop problem. So
but there are conditions.
there
out
are
there
other conditions
that people might not realize.
Yes. Teenagers like to call in and say that they have irritable bowel syndrome while they're on their senior trip so that they can skip the line.
Really?
So I know for a fact that one has passed on. My son did not do that, but I won't say or whether or not his close friend did.
Oh boy.
So
does that mean if your friend has the line skip pass, would that mean that you reap those benefits as well?
I mean, yeah, you do get to reap the benefits.
So when you
Well,
call
then.
ahead, so you have to call ahead to get it. So when you call ahead, you say who's in your
We're gonna have
party.
to get a cease and desist letter
I know.
served to our YouTube.
Yes.
Anyway.
So you call ahead and say who's in your party, and then when you use your medical disability pass, that person goes first and
and it
scans
says how
in,
many
and then it has all the people that are
in your
attached to it
party,
in your
yeah.
party. So everybody else gets to go through as well. So
Wow.
so we did Rise of the Resistance.
I respect that.
Mm,
That is fine with me to take some money out of the mouse's
Look,
pocket.
you're charging me $4,000 for 4 people to go to Disney,
Or $5,000
or
for
$5,000 for liquid. I'm not going to stand in line for 7 out of the 12 hours that I'm there.
My bowels can be kind of irritated.
Yes,
for that much.
for that much money. So
And I gotta tell you, sometimes they just are. For not
sometimes
even
they
that
are.
much money.
Yeah. So so why not?
Welcome to BanthaMilk, people.
Welcome to BanthaMilk, where we talk about poo.
Yeah.
I
love it. I love it.
Is that our new tagline?
That's
a
it.
podcast about poo.
I want you to put that into a wood carving.
And do a wood carving with the poop
BanthaMilk.
emoji.
BanthaMilk. We talk about poo.
We talk about
Or
poo.
we would have to be like Poodoo, I guess. A podcast about
A
Poodoo.
podcast about poo-doo.
WEOK Radio. All Poodoo, all the
All
time.
poo all the time.
Oh,
Check it
man.
out. So yeah, so if you decide that if somebody in your party happens to not be completely healthy, then you don't have to wait in line as often. So
Didn't hear it from us.
You keep saying that you get to skip the line. You still have to wait in the line. But
Okay.
Basically, like you're in a virtual queue. Like
right.
if the wait time says it's 2 hours and you wait in 2 hours, but you're just not waiting the actual physical line. You don't have to stand around for 2 hours.
That's fine. That's
how
better
you-
than better than standing in that heat and that line with all
Right.
the people who smell. And
So for all the people that can't hear Trey because he refuses to come closer to the microphone,
he's just way too cool for that.
you on the app, on the Disney app, you have to check in. And when you check in with your medical disability pass, you check in with whatever the listed wait time is for the ride. So when you check in, if the wait time says 2 hours, you then have to wait 2 hours before you can go through the fast pass lane.
But once that 2 hours has passed, no matter how many people have gone through, you at least go through that.
You can go through that
lane.
fast pass lane, right? And that way you don't have to physically wait in the line standing still. You can go do other things while
Right.
you're waiting in that line.
Grab a Coke.
Right.
Find some shade.
Find some shade, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. So you don't just go, hey, I want to go on this ride right now. You do have to wait. So there is.
I mean,
there
if you
is-
have IBS, then you probably need to go to the bathroom.
exactly. So I mean, that's why
Trey's
you do
poor
it.
friend, man.
I know that poor kid.
Living his life with that condition.
I mean,
It's brave of him actually
to try and go to the park.
go in the first place,
Right.
and to face the sort of ridicule
that he knows
that he knew that others. Man,
Mhm.
tell your friend from me, I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them for just sticking up and being who they are.
And
Teachable moments.
you know what? It's
with
I'm even more
BanthaMilk.
proud of him. He did it without adult diapers.
Wow.
Yeah. So he
Now
was really pushing it.
That's courage.
That is courage.
That's fortitude.
Fortitude.
Let's think of other really encouraging adjectives.
Encouraging.
That's what that is. Anyway.
Anyway, so we walked in through the tunnel because then you're leaving Earth and walking through this tunnel,
to
and
a
then
galaxy far, far
you're
away.
walking into this Dark Spire's Outpost. And you're coming around the corner and then another corner, and then you see an X-Wing sitting there parked, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Cool, yeah.
Other Star Wars ships and speeders, and what was Luke Skywalker's speeder?
The T-16 Skyhopper.
Yeah, T-16 Skyhopper.
Or was it like the Sand Speeder?
There was a couple of those also.
Okay.
Some of those,
But
like
the specific the T-16.
yeah, there was a
Yeah, I see.
T-16. There was a couple other ones parked next to it. And then you turn another corner, and then there's the Millennium Falcon is sitting there,
Which is probably enormous.
which is
in real life,
enormous,
right?
really, really cool looking.
Is it more impressive than the one I made in Minecraft?
A little bit,
Okay,
a little bit,
that's fair.
yeah, just
Disney's
a little bit.
got a bigger budget. Than
They
that.
do have a bigger budget. It was a little bit more detailed.
A lot of $5,000 drinks they had to sell.
There were a lot of $5,000 drinks. So I was actually disappointed. We didn't go into Olga's Cantina.
Okay.
There was a wait, there was a line, you had to register for it, and we didn't register for it. So I didn't get to go into Olga's Cantina. But Trey was very nice. For Father's Day, he got me a Disney gift card.
Nice.
And he said, this is for when we go to the park. You can get some blue milk.
All right.
I lost the cup wherever I'll
right
find
here.
it. Oh, yes. Oh, it's right over here. Yes.
You got that reach, Rob. There
I
you
got the reach. So we got the blue milk in the fancy collector's cup.
Okay, so is that when you fill it, does it change colors?
It doesn't change color. The liquid itself inside is literally blue. So the cup doesn't change colors, but the liquid inside was blue. We got blue milk and green milk.
And where'd you get that from?
This one we got. There was a cart right over there. Yeah, so we got it off the cart.
And if you had to compare the tastes,
the blue milk much better.
Okay, were they alcoholic?
These versions were not.
Okay.
But in Olga's, you can get a blue milk
okay.
alcoholic. We got the non-alcoholic ones. The blue milk tasted like pineapple-ish, right? Or coconut. Coconut.
Okay, I like coconut.
Coconut-ish. The green one, I don't know what the green one tastes like, but we weren't as big of fans of the green one as we were the blue one.
Okay, are they like
the green one tastes like plants? I don't know if I really
plants?
say that, but
So maybe there's like a kale or something in there. to,
Yeah,
like, make it
maybe.
green.
Yeah.
So are these are not like iced?
They
sort
are
of-
iced. They're
but, like,
ice
not
drinks.
slushy. They're
Kind of like a slushy.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
kinda
like a thick, viscous, milk-like substance.
Yeah, not like a milk-like,
Okay.
but more like an icy.
Okay.
Thick. Little bit softer than an icy. Like you could drink it without a straw.
Okay.
Where with like an icy, when you get all that liquid out, you have the extra
Right.
really frozen part at the bottom.
But it's not like milkshake.
It's not like a milkshake, no.
okay.
Yeah. So it's like an icy, but a little bit more liquidy icy.
Man, whatever blue milk. I guess BanthaMilk. Bantha's boobs must be kind of cold, right?
They must be, yeah. And
I guess
coconutty.
maybe if you serve it chilled, I guess.
Yeah,
But I don't
so-
know. I'm just thinking like they're slushy. So
Yeah.
they have to take if it's just regular milk, they have to take that milk and then they have to ice it somehow.
Right. Because
I'm
when
just trying to think of I guess Philly ice has cream in it, right? Like
yeah,
good Philly ice.
like a water ice type
Yeah.
thing.
I love the way you said that. Was so Philly the way you said that.
It's very
Water
Philly. Water ice.
That
Water
was
ice.
nice.
WUDDER.
Yeah.
Water ice. Yeah.
You are so South Jersey.
So I mean, I grew up right above Philly and in like Northeast for those people, the Northeast Philly. So yeah. So that's I don't know how I got this. My kids have weird accents too, but whatever. So yeah, so it's very water icy.
Love it.
So yeah, some of them, like if you just get a cherry water ice, there's no cream in that, but
But like
like
some of them have like a cream base.
yeah,
or
like a
yeah,
gelati.
gelati.
Yeah.
So I guess
Um,
that's not super outlandish to mix
no.
cream in with milk like things.
Yeah,
Anyway,
anyway.
semantical stuff. Go
So
on.
so the blue milk, very good. Green milk, not
Less
as good.
so,
Less
sure.
so.
But like blue milk, good. Like you like it, you would.
Oh,
get
I
it
would
again,
definitely get
you
more blue
enjoyed
milk.
it.
Yeah,
It
I
was
enjoyed it a lot.
refreshing on a
Yes.
hot day.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So I definitely
Where
would.
would you place it on our scale?
I mean, I got the non-alcoholic one, but I still would place it up at a low layer.
Okay, that's solid,
Yeah,
strong.
the green one would be down more in like
A chewy
a
area, or even like
chewy
a.
or a porg or
Oh,
porg slash Ewok-y,
all right, not so good.
whatever whatever
Again,
the 3/4
less
step
good.
is. Less good. Yes.
You know, on the Galactic Star Cruiser, they have blue and green milk, like
Machines.
Machines, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, like almost like icy machine or Slurpee
But
machines.
on the Star Cruiser, it's liquid. Like it's like milk consistency.
Okay,
It's
like
Oh,
just like
not
a
a
thick.
slush. Okay.
There's also an Ogus Cantina. It's liquid, not slushy.
See,
So
now
the
that-
alcoholic version is more liquidy.
It's more like a milk.
It's more
Yeah.
See that I'm intrigued by. I'm
Mhm.
intrigued by that. I'd be like intrigued to see what that tasted like.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe
Yeah.
next time.
Next time. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I just go down all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Eric from the Supreme Resort, he goes down a lot, so maybe he can when
Eric,
he goes
he'll
down.
have to do a field report.
Yes, that would be awesome if he did that for us.
Eric, if you're listening,
Eric, hook us up.
let's do something aside from sillily laughing, poke fun at each other. Do
Yeah,
that.
do that. So yeah, so we did that. Then we went on the Millennium Falcon ride. What's that called? Smuggler's
I hear
Run.
that's a delight.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. So it was actually very funny.
Is that the one that used to be Back to the Future? Like that whole setup? I feel like something in there used to be the Back to the Future ride.
I
don't know.
mean, it's a simulator.
It's like a similar sort of thing.
Yeah.
Was it just your party in the cockpit?
So there were 6 seats in the cockpit.
And there were probably a lot of cockpits people could go in.
Yeah, so there was like 4 or 5 you could go to. While you're waiting, you're like in the middle of
So in,
the
like,
Millennium Falcon.
the waiting room area, like where
yeah.
they have the checkers and stuff.
Yep. So and I said to my kids, let's sit down. They're like, no, we can't sit down. So I did take a picture of it, of the table with the round bench and stuff
Why
like
didn't you
that.
want to sit down?
They wouldn't let me sit down.
Did they just think they weren't allowed to sit down?
Yeah, they thought they weren't allowed. And
Were there signs?
so when you get to that point, they put you in. The first 2 people in your group are the 2 pilots. The
Right.
second 2 people in your group are the gunners.
No.
And then the last 2 people are the engineers.
Okay.
The engineers
You didn't wanna be an
is the
engineer.
worst of the 3
You don't wanna
jobs.
do that.
You don't want to do that.
Okay.
So the first time we went through, our family of 4 was the first 4, and then there was a mom and a daughter behind us.
And
They
they were
wound
the
up being the
engineers.
engineers.
Cool.
But while we were standing there, as you're standing there waiting for the people in front of you to finish the ride and then for you to get on,
Right.
that's when I said, take a picture. And they said, no, don't get out of line. You know, my family is very rule follower, which is a
sure.
good thing. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a bad thing. So I was like, whatever. So then I'm getting out taking pictures of it, but not actually sitting in it because I'm waiting. If I would have sat down, I would have had 3 people yelling at me.
Because
Get
you
up.
don't want to be. You don't want to be the engineer.
You don't want to be the engineer. You don't want to lose your spot. So Trey and Sherry were the pilots the first time.
Okay.
And then Cameron and I were
The
the
gunners,
gunners.
cool.
And then this other family.
And do
were
you get
the
to
engineers.
sit in like the gunner seat?
So you sit in the cockpit, but there's just like 6 seats in a row in the cockpit.
Okay. You don't get that rad
no,
like arcade style.
no.
turret to sit in.
So it's going to be really good for all the
For
people
all our
to see.
YouTube listeners and
But
watchers.
this is what the cockpit looks like here.
Oh, I see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's 6 seats there. So the 2 pilots sit in the front, and then the gunners were right behind them,
All right.
and the engineers were behind them. So when you're the pilot,
Sorry, but
you're actually piloting the ship. So the person
so
on
like
the
if
left,
you wanted to like just yank the directions to the left, would it do that?
yeah.
Okay.
So and actually, Dan from the Supreme Resort posted in their Facebook group. He goes to Disneyland a lot, and
Okay.
he said to whoever the family was that I was riding Smuggler's Run with, you guys were so bad you almost crashed the system 3 times.
Oh my God.
So
So I guess
When I went for senior trip, we had a dad with his like 4-year-old daughter who didn't know how to do it, so he tried to fly both of them
Oh no.
If you don't do it correctly, it will crash into everything.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And you feel it like
Yeah.
hit stuff. Oh, that's cool.
So the person on the left controls the left and right movement of the Millennium Falcon.
Okay.
The person on the right controls the up and down.
All right. That's probably not how it actually works in real life, but it's an
No,
interesting way to
but
split
it's
things up.
So it was funny. Sherry was thinking up is forward, and
She was not thinking the flight control reverse sort of a
yeah.
thing, right?
So she kept trying to go up and
And
was
would go
pushing
down, right.
She was thinking it was speed up. Go forward is speed up and pull. She wasn't listening to the guy who told
She
her
doesn't
what to
play
do.
video games like
She doesn't
we
play
do.
video
Yeah.
games. So she's like crashing into things. Trey's like he's like hitting her handle, and there's one part where it says,
So
"Okay,
Trey, you were the other pilot.
Trey was the other
Okay.
pilot," and then the gunner job is pretty dumb. Also, like you just sit here and you just keep pushing a red button, but you see the lasers going as you're pushing the red button. But I think
But
you
you
could
can't
have just
aim it or anything.
there's no aiming, and I think you could have even just held it, and it would have
eventually
just
it's gonna-
continued to
yeah.
fire nonstop.
But even that is better than the engineer's job.
The engineer's job, when a light lights up on the wall that
Uh-oh,
says something
something
needs to be
is
fixed,
in
like if you
trouble.
got shot,
You click it
yeah,
and it fixes.
and it fixes. So if you're the engineer, you're literally staring at a wall, waiting for one of the lights to light up, and
And
then
you
you
click it.
push it.
Yeah.
So you don't get to see everything that's coming at you.
Yeah.
You don't get to actually enjoy the ride. You're sitting here and you're just being tousled, whatever, all around. Because like if you don't do it, then the ship will crash or whatever. I don't know, whatever.
I mean, are there any real repercussions for not doing your job?
At the
Aside
end,
from like crashing into like hitting
yeah,
into
you
things a
like
little bit?
crash into things. They go, oh, you only got one canister. You're supposed to be getting these canisters of energy or something like that.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, you didn't get any canisters, or you had it right.
Yeah, no, I'm just
Oh,
finding
okay.
a comfy position.
Oh, okay. Or like at the end you get ranked.
Okay.
So I forget what our first one was, scoundrel or something like that.
That
Or
doesn't sound like a good one.
yeah, like our first
But
one
for
was
Scoundrels Run, you'd think that would be a good one. Interesting.
Smuggler's Run.
Oh, okay. That makes
Yeah.
more sense.
So then Sherry was like, okay, I'm a bad pilot. And then, I don't know what the people behind us were doing, whatever. So then we wound up going on a second time a little bit later.
And were you able to sit down?
Yes. And then this time Sherry was like, I don't want to be the pilot. I was like, okay, I'll be the pilot. And one of the things that was really cool is there is a part where it goes, okay, send us in the hyperspace or lights. What is it?
Hyperdrive.
Hyperspace.
Yeah.
Hyperspace. So you do pull the handle that Han pulls. Yep.
Yeah.
And it makes the sound and the lights go, and you do feel like you
kinda
lunge ahead. Yeah,
yeah.
they do a little bit of jerk type thing. So it's a fun ride. I know people give it a bad rap. If you are stuck being the
How
engineer,
long is it?
is it 3 or 4 minutes? It's pretty long. Yeah.
See, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't go to parks a lot and because I don't go because I don't have a lot of money. But to me, I think this sounds amazing. 3 to 4 minutes. Oh my God. I just waited in line for how long? For 3 to 4 minutes? You know,
that's the same thing with, Great Adventures, even worse than that.
You're right. That's why I don't like Great Adventure. I have a
like-
student who went to what's the place out in Ohio? Cedar Point.
Cedar Point. Yeah.
This week. And I can't imagine so many. I can't imagine the lines
Yeah.
at these places.
Yeah, like you're constantly waiting 30, 45 hour for a ride that lasts 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just
If you're a park person, I guess you're just used to it. It's just part of the experience.
Yeah. Now, I will say, like years ago, we went to Great Adventure, and we went on a Saturday, and we were there for like 8 hours. We got on 3 rides.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is ridiculous. We went to customer service, and we were like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this. They go, well, here's free passes to come back. We're like, no, we want our money back. They're like,
I specifically
yeah,
don't want to come back here.
Yeah.
You probably said tough.
Yeah, they're like, well, we're not giving your money back because you came.
You were here.
You were here.
You had the opportunity to be on rides. We just had a lot of other people who want.
So that was ridiculous. But and that's the thing. Like you said, when Disney is so expensive, that you want to be there from what they call rope drop at the very beginning,
sure,
all the way to when it closes, because you want to make sure you get the most out of it. But at like 5 o'clock, like dinner time, everybody gets tired, everybody gets cranky, and it's hot.
You go back, you take a shower at the hotel, you get out of the shower, and you're like lay on the bed, and you're just kind of like, we got to go to dinner, but like,
yeah. And like when we were little, when the kids were little, like there was a forced 2-3 hour break in the middle there because the
'Cause they
kids
had to have
needed
a
a nap.
nap. Yeah.
So that was great. But like now,
Trey,
like
you don't need a midday nap anymore, man. I
Trey.
needed a midday nap, brother. I don't know about you, man, but
So, but like Sherry, like she was like, I can't do. And Trey wanted to stay till 1 o'clock in the morning if he could.
why wouldn't you?
Sherry was like, I gotta go. Like this is too much. So,
I would be that way too. I'd
yeah.
be out of there.
So,
It'd be like 8 o'clock. I'd be like, something's on in the hotel. There's a big comfy thing there because
yeah,
you have been walking around all day.
yeah, and it's a lot of walking. Like we did 20,000 steps at least
Easy,
each of those 3 days. So it's a lot of walking. It's a lot of hot sweat, exhaustion.
I hear, South Florida is a delightful temperature around.
Oh,
this time
the
of year.
temperature is beautiful. It's
Yeah.
it's a nice
balmy
sultry
98
balmy
degrees
night with 120% humidity.
Yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful. So that was Smuggler's Run. I liked it. A lot of people give it a bad rap. I can see if you're the engineer. If I was the engineer, I wouldn't even bother pushing the buttons. I would just like watch this show
Yeah.
because that's
I
more
mean, I
fun
think
to
you
me.
can probably in that situation, just based on what you're telling me, like keep a peripheral view on the lights and look
Yeah,
forward
and if
like whenever you
every
see one pop
every other
and-
one, pop it and then watch back. But it is pretty cool, and you do have to work as a team because if you steer down too far, you're going to crash into something below, and then it like skims off the bottom and bangs into the top. And every time you bang into something, the whole thing does shake. So it is a lot of fun. So we did that. Then we did the other one. What's the other? Rise of the Resistance.
Mhm.
Rise of the Resistance is an immense ride. The line, the queue
Is
is
it another
amazing.
like the one you just described?
No.
But this is actual ride.
This is an actual ride. And this is
Like a roller coaster?
not a roller coaster. It's a trackless ride that you sit in a car and it moves all around and it does. And you're in a prisoner transport and you're moving all around the ship. And as you're moving around the ship, the resistance people are trying to help you get off. So start of the ride, you're on a rebel spaceship simulator. Really cool.
So when you
stuff.
say trackless ride, you mean you start in something and you move on to other
So
spots?
so this is why people say this is like the best ride in Disney
Okay.
because talk about a long ride. The whole time it's probably 12 to 15 minutes.
See, now that is acceptable for the amount of money you're making.
Right.
That's an acceptable. It's an experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
And
And
I
some
wouldn't
people
mind a
some people
45 minute
argue
to hour minute rate wait for a 15-minute experience.
right.
You know?
Some people argue when the ride actually starts.
Right. Sure.
Because there's a lot of stuff that builds up until the ride actually starts. There's
right. But you said that was all
pre-show
good stuff, right?
But it's all good stuff. So the pre-show stuff, you come in through the queue and then you go on to this spaceship. And while you're on the spaceship, it moved a little bit.
Did you play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Yes.
I can tell because you used the word queue.
Yes.
Because like unless you're British, there's no reason you're using that word unless you played Roller Coaster Tycoon
Yeah.
growing up because they totally use it.
They
That's so
use
funny.
it all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
So you're on the spaceship, and as you're on the spaceship, there's like two different screens, one in front at the front of the ship, and there's a pilot up there, like an animatronic pilot flying the ship. There's even a screen in the back to show you like where you coming
Right.
from. So it's really neat. It's moving around
Immersive.
and then very immersive. And then you get tractor beamed onto a destroyer,
Like a Star Destroyer?
Star Destroyer.
Okay, that's cool.
So then you get onto that.
You feel your like ship kind of
Yeah, it shakes a little bit, and then the screens they show you like
That's rad.
pulling into the thing. Then the doors open. When the doors open, then there's Imperial people standing right there, and they're telling you that you're now prisoner because you're part of the rebellion and blah blah blah. Get off the ship. You're going to.
Oh, so they're bringing you to prison.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. So you
I
start
thought you
out.
were like transporting a prisoner, but
No,
you
are the prisoner.
Interesting.
So then you come off the ship, and now you're in this room.
And this is First Order we're talking here?
This is First Order. Yeah.
Because you can tell there's a Ray hologram that shows up that tells you the location of a rebel base. So
Oh,
that's
so
they're trying to get that information out.
So you're not like some innocent dude here. You are a part of the resistance, and
Yeah.
you're on a mission or something.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah, yeah. So, and they want to know what the name of the base is. And it was funny while we're standing in line. Trey, I don't remember what the name of the base was, but Trey and I are going. I'm going. Whatever you do, don't ask me. BanthaMilk. Don't make me say BanthaMilk. Don't make me say it. I'm not going to say BanthaMilk. And then other people have said on Supreme Resort, especially, they were talking about it that when they went through the second time, they were trying to be more sarcastic with the Imperial, with the First Order people, and they're
And
like,
these are all like actors.
they're all actors.
Okay.
They're all what do they call them? Cast members.
Yeah.
But they're all dressed up in like officers'
That's
uniforms
got to be
and
a
stuff
good
like that.
gig so far as being a
Yeah.
cast member at Disney, right?
Yeah. That one also, Tower of Terror is fun
Okay.
because
Stand
you're
around all
supposed to be
day
like,
a
yeah,
ghoul or a
and you're
goblin
like,
and-
you're standing there and you can just like stare people down,
right.
and you can be
You don't
like,
have to worry about social weirdness. or
yeah, no,
anything,
you can just be like, enter,
Yeah.
and then people are like, dude, but
Yeah.
it's like, it's acceptable for you to like really creep people out on that
Love
ride.
it.
But they were saying, like, as they're walking through, they're going, I'm only going this way because I want to, not because you're making me.
Wow. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you
Yeah,
gonna
What are you
do?
gonna do? I'll go. I'm not gonna walk in a straight line. I'm gonna walk over here. What are you gonna do about it?
Put me in cuffs, bro.
So then you get off the ship, and then you're in this one giant room, and there's like 40 stormtroopers all lined up, and they're just like staring at you. And
Are
you
they real, or you think they're just like?
No, they're all animatronics,
Okay.
and most of them are just like mannequins, but there are probably a half
couple that
dozen of
move and
them
stuff.
that like their heads turn, some of their arms
Just
move
enough
up and
that
down.
makes it look like they're real.
Look like that they could be actors standing there.
I mean, stormtroopers are the perfect thing for an animatronic, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, they look like robots. They just happen to be people inside of them. So then you get shipped off of that room, and then that's when you board the transport built ship. The transport.
You go into the room where Kylo Ren interrogates you.
oh, you get interrogated by
yes,
Kylo
I forgot about
himself.
that. Yes, he's up on a railing up above
Oh,
you.
so it's an animatronic.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's a screen. It's a screen up
okay.
above. But him and what's the other guy? The guy who winds up who winds up being a traitor.
Yeah.
Hux is there first. And then Kylo comes out and he's like, I'm going to use the Force on you. And that's another time when I shouted out what the planet was. I'm like, it's Batu or whatever the planet was that they're trying to find out what the secret base is.
I assume the animatronic screen can't respond to your.
No, it
your
doesn't
shouting.
respond. No, it
Disney
doesn't.
is not quite there yet.
But
with
but
the
it is cool
technology.
when you're in that room. Then one of the panels suddenly like a laser like cuts through and
Like a
opens up. A
lightsaber?
lightsaber kind of cuts through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Ray? Like,
It's not Ray
the
at that
rescue?
point, but it's just it is kind of like, yeah. So then there is a rescue. So then you get onto the ship, onto the transport vehicle, and you're behind another one. And then since they're trackless, they start moving around all different places. So
okay.
the first car will go left, your car will go right. The downfall at this point, and it's the same thing with Tower of Terror, is they're both trackless rides, but you can see the scuff marks in the
Right.
ground
So
from
you
where.
know where.
So you know kind of
going
where
is-
it's going to
yeah, sure.
go. So it's not completely random, but it is random enough that there's not a track there.
Yeah.
Like it's all
Probably
computer
magnets, right?
guided. Yeah, there's like magnets and computer guided and stuff and like GPS and whatever. So
That's
it's
rad.
like guiding them all around. So they're never going to bang
So
into
what
each
is the
other.
little thing you're in?
It's like there's like maybe 12 people in the car or something like
It's
that.
like a car,
It's like a little car, like a little.
but it's not driven by anyone.
There's nobody
Is there a
driving it.
droid?
Oh
Okay,
yes,
that's
there is a
rad.
droid in the front.
That's
yeah,
cool.
so there is a droid in the front
I
driving.
mean,
you
that's
around.
funny too, because like you think about it, like that's essentially what's driving it is a droid.
Yeah,
They don't need to have the droid there, but that's what is driving. So like that's I don't know.
yeah,
That's
but
pretty
that is
cool.
what's driving it is a droid. I
We've
don't
come
know if
full
I
circle.
took.
Here, this is what it looks like.
Nope, hold on. I see. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So and oops, went too far.
So jelly.
Yeah. So here's a shot of all the stormtroopers behind it. You can like skim through and see. I took a bunch of pictures from the ride.
Rad TIE fighter.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of So then you're on this like ship that's this little troop carrier that's being driven around by a droid, and then the droid you go into another room where there's 2 or 3 giant AT-ATs.
Okay.
And they're huge. They're like, it's so big, it's so massive, which is what makes it so cool is how big it is.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's just-
Um,
anyway, we're gonna keep it PG here. Go ahead. I like this smile you got going on here, Rob. That's really
You like that fake smile
that's
of
nice.
mine? Yeah. So then you're going through like these AT-ATs, then Ray is there, Finn is there. They're all trying to like help break you out. Now we saw what they called the B show. There's one part where there's a giant animatronic of Kylo that's supposed to come out and he like swings his lightsaber at you or
all
whatever,
angry and stuff.
all angry and stuff. Um, he wasn't working. So instead, when he doesn't work, there's just a screen there.
Interesting. They have contingencies built in if one of their things
Yes.
fails.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So and apparently it happens so often that
Is
it's
it an
like,
animatronic or is it just
this is an animatronic, but when the animatronic doesn't work, then they have a screen in the same place of
Okay.
him doing the same thing, but it's a screen instead of the animatronic.
Interesting.
So we saw the screen, and then there's another part where Jedi's supposed to be up above you, like Kylo Ren is cutting a hole in the ceiling with his lightsaber. So you see like the lightsaber pop down, and you see like a circle or whatever. That didn't happen at all.
Okay.
So I was telling Eric and the guys at Spring Resort about how I didn't get to see any good stuff. Eric goes, "I've been on that ride like 6 times, and I've never seen the B one." He goes, "You're so lucky." I go, "I'd rather not be lucky. I want to see.
Wants to see the
He
B1.
wants to see the B one." I'm like, "I want to see the real animatronic. I want to see the real thing."
Next time you go.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So then you escape. You go into another. Go into escape pod, and then they launch you out of the ship, and then
like via like New Hope style, like
yeah,
little circular
like
escape
your
pod,
little thing, your little car that you're in goes into this escape pod, and then it
and you have to
launches
get out,
you.
or you have to.
It drops. It like like it drops not very far, but
you
it
feel
drops. You
yourself
feel
drop,
yourself. You go
yeah.
whoa, and it's the escape pod getting jettisoned out of the thing, and then this giant screen in front of you, and then you land right back on Batu again.
Okay.
And then you come out, and then the rebel people are down at the bottom, and they're like, "Quick, come on, let's go, you're free, you're safe, whatever." And then there's another TIE fighter sitting right there and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool ride. It was. I see why people think it's the best ride in Disney, because it is so big, it is so long, 12 minutes or so, whatever. So many big rooms, so much fun action. Like the little vehicle that you're in is going forwards, it's going backwards, it's spinning around. You're seeing this, you're seeing that. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
It was funny. Sherry didn't understand the plot. She's like, "I don't understand. Where are we right now?" I was like, "We're prisoners right now." She's like, "Okay, I don't get it. I don't know why we're prisoners. It doesn't make any sense."
I mean, Sherry has got to be not alone. Like there got to be so many wives and girlfriends that come to Star Wars,
or
land.
even boyfriends. I mean, of like.
I mean, I'm sure Pagan would take great exception of that. Like there are plenty of,
Mhm.
but there. I mean, if you want to get with like the stereotypically the Star Wars fan is not a lady,
right?
but there are plenty of you out there represent for sure,
right?
Either way.
So yeah, so the person that's
probably
with
plenty
them,
of significant others out there who are just like, I don't get it, dude.
I'm just along for the ride. Yeah. Even like there's a teacher who works at our school. She went with a bunch of her friends over spring break, and she was like, "We have to go on this ride." She was loving it. Her friends were like, "I don't get it." Yeah, whatever. So that was that. So then we did those 2 rides. So I liked the Millennium Falcon ride. I know a lot of people were like, "Skip it, it's stupid." It was fun.
I mean, if you've gone down there,
right?
Skip it.
You don't go down there to skip it. You go down there to do it, and you're in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
I can see skipping Olga's Cantina. I can't see skipping the Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. Yeah, you're in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. So you're doing that. Then after that, Trey and I built our own lightsaber. Now this was a lot of fun. This was really, really cool. And we were talking about it. The price difference between building your own
and buying
one of the prefab, one of the legacy lightsabers. Once you add in the lightsaber hilt, the handle, and the blade, you're only paying $20 more to build your own.
You might as well.
So you might as well. Sure. So I'm going to show you ours that we built.
Excited about it.
Yes.
I like the sheath that comes in. That's nice.
So it comes with this nice fancy carrying case, which was really funny when we Trey was carrying it onto the ship.
To the air, to the plane, or
To the
ship?
plane. No, to the ship.
Oh, and do they have to confiscate
Because-
your lightsaber?
Yeah, because we did the cruise after we did Disney, and they were like, "What's that?" And Trey was like, "It's a lightsaber."
It's a lightsaber.
They're like, "You can't bring that on here.
It's classified as a weapon.
It's classified as a weapon.
Like
we don't
how-
think." Trey was like, "It's plastic." They were like, "Oh, I'm trying to take the blade off without." There we go. Oh, I locked it on. Come on, there we go. Okay, so we built this. Now,
Look at that.
do you have the paper or the thing that shows the different types? So there's 4 different types of
Can I see?
lightsabers. Yeah. So there's 4 different types.
I've never held one before.
Now you will. And that one's
These feel nice, man.
yeah, it's nice and heavy. There's 4 different types that you can build. I forget the names of the 4 different versions of it. But when you get
Look, I'm Luke.
you are you
That's the first thing I did.
right in your eyeball.
Honest to God, the first thing I did was.
So when you get to build it, they ask you which of the 4 types that you want to build, and
4 types of lightsaber.
4 types of lightsaber. And
Okay.
when you decide which of the 4 types you want to build, they give you a pin that goes along with your type.
Okay.
So then when you go inside where you're building the lightsaber, the people who are working there look at your pin, and then they pull out a tray that is specific to that type that you decided to build. So
Okay,
when you
what type is this?
This is power and control.
This is okay. So power and control. So right now I'm on my 3rd replaythrough of Jedi Fallen Order. So power and control are some of the sleeves and emitters.
okay.
So like that probably is like there's probably like I'd imagine themes that they've set. So is this power and control?
That's power and control.
Because it reminds me of Vader.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically like when I was playing the game, the power and control one gave me a Vader vibe.
Yes.
So that makes sense. All right. So this one here, like the profile on this one, I guess you'd say is power and control.
Right. So when you get power and control, then you have multiple options of how to put power and control together.
Okay.
So that is
Broken
broken.
like this. You have like a nice little like some sort of crystal in the middle,
Yep.
and you've got like
And
It
if
is
you
nice.
you can take it apart to take the crystal out of it to change crystals as well.
right. I had heard that.
So that is built. That is made of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Is that me
6.
that's making this.
That's you turning it on and off. When you have a
Ah.
blade in it, when you do that, it will do different things. Which
Right.
I'm going to show you the blade in a second.
Yes.
So that's made of 6 different pieces there.
Okay.
Now with those 6 different pieces,
I just love the quality of that. That's rad.
yeah, because like Trey
feels
made
substantial,
one
yeah.
when he was little before when we first went there. You can make a plastic one which is similar concept to this. It's just not as heavy as this.
It's not as real.
Not as real.
Not as- yeah.
yeah, it's so when you make this, you have
All right. there's
two
your emitter,
different-
Right.
2 different top pieces that you can pick from in the
Right.
power and control category.
Right. Because
So-
that's even in the game, there's a power and control 1 and a power.
What were the
control
other categories? There's 4 different categories that you can get.
Peace and justice. Yeah.
Power and control, elemental nature, protection, and defense.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, those are all. That's awesome that they're kind of doing that because those are all in Jedi Fallen Order.
It's
You
all-
played
okay.
Jedi Fallen Order, right?
I played a little bit of
Yeah. So like all like an elemental defense is kind of like the Wookiee sort of wooden sort of feel, and yeah, that's awesome. that
and
they-
and
they're
the
using those.
elemental and defense, was that the third one down? That's the one that has. There's one that has like a what was the tooth on them? A rancor tooth
Oh,
on
that's
the bottom.
rad.
So it looked cool, but the rancor tooth, it was had a very
little
plasticky
chintzy.
feel
Yeah,
to it. Yeah, like
yeah.
it didn't feel like real bone. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't thick enough. So that's why Trey was like,
Yeah, if
Um,
you're gonna like do something like that, you have to sell it. Like you
Yeah.
don't want this thing that you're spending money on to feel cheap.
to feel cheap. So everything else is heavy metal except for that tooth at the end,
Yeah.
which it looked neat, but whatever.
yeah.
And then so you have 2 different bottom pieces that you can choose from. And then this part
That's a sleeve.
this is sleeve. So they had 2 of these sleeves, or there was a different style sleeve as well. We did it the same.
But you could have mixed and
You
matched.
could have mixed and matched. I personally, I like the symmetry of having the top and
Yeah,
the
the
bottom the
same,
same. Other people we were looking around as we were doing it. There was 12 maybe people building it at the same time. It was really cool. Like this is one of the, I want to say one of the 3 jobs that I would love to have if
Is
when I
helping people
retire
build
at yeah.
a lightsaber.
So the first guy comes in and he's very very sincere. He talks about how they Trey recorded it on my phone, how they're the scavengers and if anybody stops you while you're in Batu, these are just scavenged metal pieces, the junk parts that you have. Don't say the word lightsaber because um, the Empire will take it from you.
right.
But tell them that it's just junk parts and stuff. And he goes through this whole thing about how we're this and we're that. And
Did you
he
carry it on your hip from the rest of the day?
it would be cool if you could.
You have to buy it separately. We weren't gonna pay.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's definitely there's that little nub.
So there
that's
is a little
for that,
nub here
right?
that you could clip
But
on.
you need a belt or something.
Yeah, you
Of
have to.
course you do.
Oh yeah.
Of course you
also
do.
For the parts that you don't get on your lightsaber, you can pay for them separately.
Okay.
Or like we just paid $220 for that.
What do you mean the parts that you don't get?
So like you can pick. There's like 4 different of those pieces.
Oh, so like the sleeve, you can buy the other sleeves and you can trade them out. I
Yeah.
got you.
So then
So
when
you just got what, like the blank, like husk there.
right. So here's
It's like the blank.
the blank
Oh.
husk. This is what you start
And I
with.
see your crystal in
And
there.
then he talks to you about your crystal and which crystal
What
we
color
got.
crystal do you have?
We
on
got
that?
the purple crystal because
Nice,
I wanted
nice.
I wanted the Mace Windu purple
Sure, of
crystal.
course.
So we already
So the
had
crystal, like if you were to put a different crystal, that would change the color of the blade. So it doesn't
Yes.
matter what blade you buy; they'll all change colors.
they'll
based
all
on the
change
crystal?
colors and also they go along with the holocron.
Ah.
So if you where's the button for this? So the holocron that Trey got one for me when he was
we've
on.
seen this on the
we've seen
on the
this.
show.
So this came or didn't come with, but Trey bought the. He's going to open it for me because he knows he's opened it 1,000 times.
There it is.
So he.
I see. So it's got a little tray. You
it
can
has a
trade
little
out.
tray
Yeah,
in
that's
here.
his name. Anyway,
And Trey for the tray was able to find the black holocron, which emits red, but is black. It's the rarest of the holocrons.
right. Of course, they can't make your blade black because that would make it the dark saber. and
Right.
They need more money for the dark saber.
Right. So you could put the purple holocron or purple crystal into your holocron,
And does it change it?
and it changes the colors,
Yeah, it's purpley.
and
Ooh.
it changes what it says as well.
Give it to your son.
Yeah. It doesn't want to talk right.
You will be destroyed.
Ooh.
So it's Palpatine. He says something different than what the red crystal says.
I mean, that's dark stuff, man.
Yeah. And so then I could also put the black crystal inside of here.
So would that make a red blade?
So this will make the blade red. Yes. So
you had the black crystal.
We had the black crystal from before.
You got the red crystal for this. Or the purple
The purple crystal, yeah.
So now you have the black crystal, which will emit a red blade.
Right.
Or the purple crystal, which will emit
a purple blade.
Okay.
Right.
That's rad.
So,
That's
I'm going to
cool.
put the purple one back in because that's the one that we got with this.
Sure.
Trey likes to switch them out and then play around with them and stuff.
It's cool. It's cool putting it there. You feel like a Jedi, man.
Yeah.
I get
most
it.
definitely. Most definitely.
Dude, you don't get it. Like, you're what, 17, 18? All right. Like when I was 17, if I had the ability to have an actual lightsaber, man, I don't. God, thank God I found Pagan.
Yeah.
It's a wonder I'm married. Thank goodness my wife is just as much of a nerd as I am. She's just as excited about lightsabers and stuff as anyone else.
Yeah. Well, and Sherry was, could care less.
But at
she
least
was
she
very
supports-
supportive.
at
Yeah.
least
She was like,
supports your
okay.
endeavors.
She's like, go ahead, go be a little kid. I don't care.
We all need to do it somehow.
We all need to do it.
We need our outlet.
So that
some husbands go and spend the family kitty at the racetracks.
that's true.
You like to play Galaxies.
I like to
and
play-
talk
yeah.
into a mic in your basement
That's
once
right.
a couple weeks. So.
That's right. So then we put it all together. Once you put it all together, the guy talks about how you build it and you put it all together and all the stuff. And now we're gonna turn it into a real lightsaber and blah blah blah. He goes through this whole really cool spiel. On your
and then he gets the fake blade to put on it.
right in your work area, right next to your work area, there's this tunnel right next to it, this like rounded top tunnel.
Oh, do you stick it in?
And you put the blade
oh, that's
into
kinda
this.
Cool, at least.
The
'Cause then you
workers.
can,
yeah.
Okay. But then at least you can kind of draw the blade. You feel like kind of
Yeah.
badass.
It reveals itself. The thing opens up and it like reveals itself, and you lift it up into the sky.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's
And
kinda
so
cool.
then everybody at the same time, when you put your blade in, then it turns itself on.
Oh, that's
and then
cool.
everybody picks up their lightsaber, and you have red, green, purple,
Yellow,
blue,
probably.
not yellow.
No yellow?
Yellow and
No.
white you have to buy separately.
Yeah.
That's not
Oh.
included in this one, yeah.
And then so then you have your full on lightsaber here, and
So how's the like impact? Like, can you play around with that like a kid and
yeah,
feel pretty
pretty
confident?
good. So here's this was funny. If you like, it does
Yeah,
have like
it has
reaction to it. Yeah,
as they did when we were kids, but again, they were not as
yeah.
rad
But
as
the
this.
the one as kids, it was like the hollow plastic.
Yeah, and you had to do this to.
Yeah,
I actually have one in my office at work right
that
now.
you
A
like
Kylo Ren one actually.
that you can slam down and then
Yeah.
it pulls out and stuff. So it was fun. One of the fun things for us anyway, when it got dark out, we went back and I took a bunch of pictures of the kids holding it at nighttime
Sure,
because it
why
was
not?
really glowing, really cool purple. Sherry was like, I'm just going to wait over here. You guys run around Batu all you want. Come back when you're done. There was a little kid there. He was like 3. Sherry's like, quick, come back. Cause I wanted to I had them take pictures of me in front of like the speeders and stuff like that.
Your
holding
hands
the
would be
lightsaber.
so burned off right now.
I know, right?
He's holding it by the blade.
I'm holding it by the blade. But she says to me, she goes, "Come here. This kid wants to play lightsabers with you."
So
Little
did you have a
3-year-old.
duel
So
with
it had
a
a duel with a
3-year-old?
little 3-year-old.
Did you kill a youngling, Rob?
I did. I and the children too.
Not just the men,
Not just the men,
but the women.
the
and the
women
children.
and the children too. But it was really funny because the parents told him, like when he was at home, he had the kid one, the plastic one, and apparently he's like beating everything down with it. They told him this was a real one and he can't do
Yeah,
that.
Sure. So he was
So
trying to be polite with you.
He was just
He didn't
like
wanna hurt
holding
you.
it. Yeah, he was just holding it and he's just going and just moving it just a little bit. And I'm sitting here going, bang, bang, bang. He was having a blast, but he wasn't really,
He's still just.
he
trying
was
to be
afraid to
careful.
break it. So it was
Sure.
really, really cute. So we did this. And then, of course, you asked, and then this is fun. Watch this. This is really cool when it does this.
Oh, it actually.
It actually zooms
Yep.
down into it. Yeah. So this was the homemade one.
Listen, it's 2022. Maybe by 2072,
Right.
we'll have a real lightsaber.
We'll have a real lightsaber.
You might not be around. I might not be
probably
around
won't.
either.
Yeah.
But
But
Fingers
yes,
crossed.
one where you can no. So we talked about that before on the podcast. The one on the Star Cruiser that when they turn it on, it actually expands out.
yes,
It's like the
but it's like the slap bracelet.
the
thing,
slap
right?
bracelets, yeah. So on the Star Cruisers where they have it. So the girl will make it show up and she pulls it out.
But then they have to switch out.
And
to
then
a
they
different
switch
one,
out.
Right.
Yeah.
But the video I saw, like the first time they ever did it, she did not practice it.
Oh
So you could, like,
no.
see her like putting it down, like fumbling with it.
Yeah,
actual-
but you know what?
Yeah.
Progress.
Yeah.
Progress,
Right?
yeah.
Maybe again in another 20 years they won't have to put it down and pick up another one.
So then you asked us if we could get you a lightsaber as
Yeah.
well.
So our baby's room is going to be Star Wars themed. That's been the plan since before we even thought we were going to have a baby. If we ever had a baby, it's going to have a Star Wars room. So I said, what better time?
So you asked for the first two
Oh,
that you
look at
asked
that
for,
guy.
of course, they didn't have.
They were not available.
They
That's
were not
fine.
available. So then you said, "Oh, this one's a good one." So you asked for.
So having a badass wife that I have, like my first thought is I want to get one that she likes. It's for the bedroom.
Right.
And so my first thought was Ahsoka because Ahsoka is her favorite Jedi.
Yes.
But the whole thing with Ahsoka is you got to get like both.
There's two of them.
lightsabers.
Right. So now
there's
you
that.
you're spending like $350 for two of them.
And then Pagan loves Obi-Wan. And so we're thinking the Obi-Wan show's coming out, but I guess they didn't have Obi-Wan either, right?
No.
But I mean, really, the Star Wars character that influenced Pagan the very most was Leia.
Was like
And that is 100% the truth. She like can count back to like thinking back about like Sigourney Weaver and Alien and like Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia as these strong women characters before strong women characters were typical, who didn't need to be rescued. Like, Leia got rescued, yes, but that wasn't her thing. She didn't need
She
to be
didn't need to
rescued
be.
necessarily. She
Yeah.
was an important person. She was able to help herself. So yeah, Leia was the next one for sure.
right. So then we got you the Leia one.
Excited.
So I want you to open it up. So here's
for it.
and the
All
nice
right.
thing about yours is it comes in this nice,
Yeah, that is
beautiful
a cool case. I did not realize it came in that.
Yeah,
That's
it comes in
nice.
this great plastic case, which is really nice. It's heavy.
Press on the blue button to open it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna clear myself some space here. All right. Here we go. Press on the blue button. Oh, here we go.
And then it lifted up. Yeah.
Oh, this is so rad. This is the coolest thing ever, dude.
So this the way you're looking at it now and the way you're showing us right now, this is the way if you wanted to just mount the lightsaber hilt on a shelf or something like that, this is what it looked like. This is how Princess Leia's looks like in real life. It's the movie realistic one.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the Leia blade is so cool. And I looked up the Leia blade too after I asked you to get it, and it's cool because like clearly, like even in the movie, you see it, and it looks different from other
Yeah.
lightsabers, and it's clear that like they wanted it to be like art. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's
Yep.
supposed to look,
It's supposed to
nice.
look nice.
and it
Yes.
feels so rad. It has like the Obi-Wan sort of style here, where it's got like the emitter that's kind of thin out here. But it also has kind of the Anakin influence in the like. It almost reminds me of that style you were talking about.
Yeah.
With power and so wow, yeah, that's cool. So can you take these ones apart too and like change out?
So you can change out the crystals
Okay.
on the legacy ones, but open that back up again.
Okay, here we go.
And then lift up the yes.
Oh, what is happening here?
So underneath that, there's another part.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so this is what I need if I want to.
that's what you need to plug in the lightsaber blade.
Okay.
So Trey, I'm sure Trey.
That's easy enough. So I unscrew that. Screw that in.
Yep, and then just screw right back in. And then take out that cover piece on the top. That's just like protecting.
Okay. And then
All right, here we go. I'm gonna stand up here.
and then here's the blade. I was very afraid that this blade was not going to make it back to New Jersey in one piece. I wound up putting it in the suitcase, wrapped up in the suitcase in a towel and everything like that.
It made it here by the
and it made it here. And I'm pretty sure it made it here all in one piece.
All right. No, I mean it's still in like all taped up, so who knows? We're about to find out. Here we go. All right. It's a Zeppelin. That's mine. All right, looks good, man. Looks like it. Looks like a lightsaber blade. All right, let's see. We put it in here.
Put it in and twist. Once you push it in and twist, there you go. And now
the swish is. I figured this would be the switch.
I thought that was the switch too. That's
But
funny
maybe
that
that's
it's
like
not.
where you hang it.
Yeah.
But like this is the switch right here.
Oh, that's interesting. And Nick needs to go play with it. There you go. So Nick's swinging it around right now, and it does. It's the same thing. It's really cool how when you jerk it a little bit,
Oh, and when you take the thing out, it makes a sound.
it does. Yeah, that is so rad.
I've been up, like you don't understand. I have to be up early.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be playing with this all night.
All night. Yes.
All night.
So, mental note. I don't know how your cat is. Our cat
Oh, man, that's
loves
gonna be
it.
fun.
Our cat loves it. Oh my God, she goes nuts over the purple blade. So yeah,
Thanks
so
for grabbing for me, Rob. I'm
No
sure that this won't
problem.
be the last lightsaber I get in my lifetime because I'm stoked. But we already have plans to hang this, like mount this on the wall in the
Yeah.
nursery and stuff.
and it'll make for a great night light too. That blue
Yeah,
glowing light.
honestly,
Yeah.
for sure.
And then there's one more thing. So hold out.
I don't know what I don't even know what this is.
These are
Oh.
yours. So I got Nick also was nice enough to, while we were away, he did watch our dogs for 2 nights. So I did
It was basically nothing.
but yes, well, you had fun and
I did.
I
They were
appreciated it greatly. I don't know if you're as big into this as I am, but I'm a big fan. So I got 2 different things here. Whichever one you don't want, let me know.
Okay.
You can have one, and then I'm gonna keep the other one.
Okay.
But I'm gonna let you pick between which one of these 2 things that you want when you're done over there putting the lightsaber back together.
I'm ready.
All right. So there's in there.
Okay.
So go ahead and
Oh, they're soft.
they're soft.
Oh, they're socks. Yes. All right. So we got by the looks of it, Boba Fett, and we got what do we got here? This is Vader. Oh, that's tough, but I think I'm gonna go with the Boba Fett socks.
Okay, that's fine. So
They're both pretty rad. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
so
lie.
so now,
Thanks, buddy.
now we can
Appreciate
have
you.
we can have not matching Star Wars socks,
Well,
but we can have some
close- at
fancy
least
Star
close to
Wars
matching.
socks. Yep. So
Man, thank you, buddy. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
no problem.
Man.
Oh, Trey put the red crystal into this one, so
Oh,
now
that's
it
rad,
really glows red.
man. This. I mean, again, it's. I can't imagine the markup on this. Like, there's got to be
Oh,
an insane markup on these things.
Oh,
But
yeah, you can buy it on Amazon, but it's like an extra $100.
sure.
yeah,
But my God, these like it's just it is quality. Like I've never put one in my hands until today.
right.
And it just feels like if I were a kid and I had like I feel like a kid right now holding
Oh,
this,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like so like if I were a kid and I had access to exactly this,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
like this is a lightsaber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, the
my inner
plastic ones-
child is like
I think
glowing.
we have. I'm sure we can find it. We have the plastic ones that Trey built years ago around here, and even he's not on anymore. But Avengers Hockey, when Trey was maybe like 3, he was getting Christmas presents. We went Christmas shopping together, and on the list was a lightsaber. So he like texted his wife, and she was like, "Well, that's for Trey and Rob so that they can play lightsabers together." He's like,
Right.
"Oh, I have to get 2 of them now.
Yeah.
Be surprised at Christmas when I give you a lightsaber." But we had the regular plastic lightsabers, and they look like plastic versions of the real lightsabers. But these feel, look,
It's there's a weight to them.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. You know,
no,
they're not. They feel like again, it's not a lightsaber, obviously, but
yeah. But
my,
they
my
feel
inner
like
child is happy, and at least I know this is hanging on my kid. This is not. It's for the kids' room.
right. Yes, that dad is going to be playing with a lot, and I guarantee. I have a feeling mom's going to take it down quite a couple of times
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
I know. I'm already like Pagan's gonna be in bed by the time I get home, but I'm gonna like put this box in front of her, and she's gonna wake right up.
Uh huh.
She's gonna be
Yep.
like just like I was just now. Like so, I saw that box. I'm like,
You're like,
Here we
oh,
go.
give it to me, give
here
it
we
to me
go.
already.
Like
Let's
a
go,
kid for
let's go.
Christmas. And that's Star Wars, man. That's why I
Yeah.
do a podcast about Star Wars
That's
because it's
it.
just stupid stuff. We're 34,
40,
70, whatever.
70
Uh,
something. You're as bad as my son. He tells me the same thing. I'm 200 years old.
But either way, it's like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people who get to be over the age of 20x and they go, well, I have to be an adult now and childish things
Right.
are done, but
Yeah.
they shouldn't be. And this is
No.
like, again, I'm an adult. This just made my week.
Yeah.
I have a lightsaber now.
I have a real lightsaber now.
Rad.
This is awesome. This is so rad.
Yep.
So yeah, so I
So
agree
you made
100%.
your own. You had your own special like
Yep.
time to make it with your son. That's
Yep.
rad. Was that the end of your day?
So that was that we did that. We walked around. There is a droid depot where you can build.
Yeah. Did you build a
droids.
droid?
We did not build a droid. They're about 16, 18 inches.
Yeah, I've got
tall.
a former student of mine who's made several lightsabers, and he's done the droid thing, which
Okay.
he likes a lot.
Yeah.
He thought it was
So
pretty
so the droid thing is really neat as well. And RGH, who is a big fan of all of the Ears Up shows, he's even in on Facebook. There's droid groups where after you build it, then they weather it. They like spray paint it to weather it.
They make
and
it look
They make it look
like it's
more,
been
yeah.
used and a little more real.
And they have like meetups and all kinds of stuff like that. And he said the first time that he went to the droid place, there was actually a group of people he just happened to stumble across. They were having a meetup that
I'm
day.
just gonna hold on to it and look at it
Yeah,
while you're talking.
no, most definitely. They were having a meetup that day, and they were all outside, like playing with their droids, right outside of the droid depot. So it was pretty neat. So we did that, and then we went back into Hollywood Studios and did a whole bunch of other things. But that was basically our trip to Batu. We did Trey and I did go in the other entrance because there is 2 entrances into Batu.
Okay.
The second one is not
Not the tunnel.
nearly not the tunnel. The tunnel is really cool because you go through a tunnel and then you come through the tunnel and the light like changes and you're like, oh, you see the rock formations and everything. The other way, you're like in Toy Story Land, and then suddenly you walk from Toy Story Land, and then it goes from giant Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys, and then bam, there's rocks right next to you, and then suddenly. Yeah, suddenly you're like
Oh.
walking into Kylo Ren's ship. You go from Slinky Dog Dash right into Kylo Ren's ship, and you're like,
Interesting.
it's not as like as exciting of an entrance. Just suddenly you're just like there type
Right.
of thing. So very, very cool. And then like I said, then we went on the cruise, which was a completely different trip altogether.
This was made in China.
I'm sure it was. Is that what it's stamped on it?
Yep. Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, made in China. just like exactly in the same factory as all of Trump's ties.
That so it's,
That's
and
exactly
that's what it says on
right
there.
on there. Same place.
Same place.
Man, I just keep doing this.
You do.
It's
Yeah.
just like the cool. It feels
It
like I
feels real.
could do that. You
Yeah.
know, like I know, like again, it's 11 o'clock. It's gonna be midnight when I get home, and I'm gonna put this thing on and go in my backyard and turn it on and just
Yep.
swing it around.
And
My
just swing
neighbors
it
are
around.
like, what the hell? What's going on
Yeah.
back there? I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm a
I've got
grown man
lightsaber.
child and I have a
That's right.
lightsaber.
Anyway,
So there we go. So that was our trip to Batu. Is very, very cool. I would just uh keep walking around in there. Now we didn't even get to do all the things that you can do in there.
what are the things you didn't get to that you wish you did?
So with the app, there's things on the app that you can do where you can trigger different things.
Okay.
If you keep finding these like little hidden things, then you can make different things in the park happen. Oh, is that a battery pack down at the bottom?
Yep.
There you go.
Triple A. That's surprising. Now you know. Kyber crystal, Schmeiber crystal.
Yeah.
Just
AAA.
AAA batteries. So RGH talked about it on when we were on the Supreme Resort that he saw somebody. If you go back and forth between these like 2 or 3 different areas enough, you can make all the vents on the Millennium Falcon open up and go off, and it like spews out like gas or whatever. Like
Okay.
it's it blows out like air or whatever. So you can do different things like that around the park. And like I said, we missed Olga's.
We didn't go to Docking Bay 7 either.
What was Docking Bay 7? Is that the other?
Restaurant that we like. It wasn't like a restaurant.
Oh.
But, like it was like a quick service
Yes.
food place that we walked past. That had the spoons that people were stealing.
Oh yes. So Docking Bay 7, when it first started, it had, were they metal?
They were like metal sporks.
There was metal sporks in Docking Bay 7 when it first opened, and you were
seen a metal spork.
yeah,
No one.
and you
Well,
were
of course you would
supposed
steal
to.
one.
You were supposed to eat and then return the metal sporks. Well, everybody was keeping the metal sporks. So now, if you want a metal spork, you have to pay extra for it.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We did go in Disney Springs.
There's a weird
What's that?
invention.
Huh?
Nice
Oh,
invention.
yes. In Disney Springs, we went to the Earl of Sandwich,
Okay.
which is our favorite
I've heard of the
sandwich
Earl
shop.
of Sandwich.
There was one in Pennsylvania at the casino in Ben Salem.
Okay.
We drove over there. They wouldn't let us in because it was in the middle of the casino. The kids weren't allowed to walk through the casino. You had to be 21 to get in there. So they wouldn't let us go in because we had the kids with us.
Right.
So that was the only one in this area, and it has now since closed. So they have it in Disney Springs and whatever it's called in California. I don't think it's also Disney Springs there. Whatever their Disney shopping center is in California, they have one there and they have one in Florida. Every time that we go to Disney World or Disneyland, we have to eat at Earl's Sandwich. Their sandwiches are just so good for
What do you
whatever
get?
reason.
What's your order?
So I got the original 1767 or whatever it's called. It's a roast beef sandwich, but for whatever reason, it's extra good. It's really,
Alright.
really good. So we love it. So we always go there. But I asked for plastic utensils. The guy goes, "Here you go." I go, "Oh, I need a knife too." He goes, "It's in there." I go, "Okay." I open up the package. Only thing that would have made it better is if it was a spork on the end instead of just a fork.
Okay.
But it was a fork with a plastic outer shell of a handle. Inside the middle of the fork was a little smaller but still usable plastic knife, all put together in one utensil. So then if you needed the knife, you just broke the knife out of the middle. It still had enough of a hard outside shell on the fork that you could still use the fork and the knife all in one, saving plastic, saving the environment.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. I was
Here
like,
we are living in the year 3000.
I was like, this is the most amazing product I've ever seen. I
How
was
is this not in like public use at this
and
point?
by everybody. There should not be individual knives and forks anymore, plastic wise. It
No
should
more.
just be one. I was like, this is amazing. This is the most amazing thing. Even if you don't need the knife,
Disney probably has a copyright on it.
they probably
They probably
do.
have a patent and they don't let it outside.
The only
park.
place that I saw though was at Earl of Sandwich.
That's it. Maybe Earl.
Yeah, or so
Maybe
Earl
has
the
copyright.
patent on it, and he won't let other people use it.
Classic Earl.
But Earl, that
Typical
guy,
Earl.
Earl, man, I'm telling you,
Remember that show? My Name Is Earl.
Yes,
It was a
it
good
was a
one.
good show. It was a very good show.
Anyway,
He was trying to
right
right all the wrongs that he did in his
I
life.
liked it. It was a good one.
And you know what I've been watching recently is a Community, because it keeps showing up in my Netflix
I
queue.
gotta watch that one, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine are ones I've specifically been
Trey
told I
was
need to
just
watch.
you. Yeah,
I've
Trey
heard.
just finished
I've
Brooklyn
heard.
Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I got to get on that.
But yeah, Community's good. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is fun as well.
I'm literally
So,
just sitting here feeling like a freaking Jedi. It's
Mhm.
just the coolest thing. And I think what probably is the thing is that this is supposed to be the Switch,
right.
but because it's on the part that you have to switch off,
Okay.
they probably
They hit
built
it
into the thing.
into the
But
bottom
that
part
definitely
there.
seems like that should
Yeah.
be the Switch. But
So-
I don't, maybe it's because this is skinny and like they don't know
Right.
balance wise if it would be structurally sound, because the other part that you switch on is different. It
Is
doesn't
not
have-
as skinny down there. No. Yeah.
Still
Because
cool.
they
Still
need to
cool,
they
but-
need to make the electronics fit around the lightsaber
Right.
blade that or the
Right.
the blade that goes into the top of it.
Either way, it's
So, yeah.
it is so cool. Like again, I'm just so I don't want to touch. I'm just gonna hold it.
There you go. So did you drove a car, not
I
your
did. Oh,
motorcycle?
yeah, no, I
so you can be
thought
driving
about it.
home holding it
Just
in
like
one hand.
zoom,
Yep.
zoom, zoom.
So yes. So that was our trip to Walt Disney World and to
Sounds like the
Black
the
Spire's
Spear
Outpost.
clan had a pretty darn good time.
We had a very good
Glad you
time.
enjoyed.
Yes.
Happy returns. Welcome back to reality.
Yes.
Here we are in
Back
just
in
as swampy, hot New Jersey. Apparently,
it's just as hot right
Nothing-
now.
No
Yes.
different than Southern Florida.
Except
right now.
there's no palm trees to look at, nothing as pretty looking as what
Sure.
it looks like, and no gators chasing us.
Oh yeah.
You know, I wouldn't mind a gator here or there just to spice life up
You
a
know what we
little
should
bit.
do is we should go get a gator from down there and reintroduce it into the wildlife up here.
That's a good idea.
We'd make the news.
We would.
As
Well,
those-
I mean,
as
you
those
know,
jerks that
that did it
introduced
with the-
gators into the New Jersey population.
Right. And it's the same thing as the people that dumped all their boa constrictors
Yeah.
down into Florida.
Can you imagine the Pine Barrens with alligators?
I know. How much fun would that be? Driving along at nighttime, all the people with their Jeeps driving around
That's
in
the
the
one
sand,
thing
and then
I
a
feel
gator
like-
coming out of them.
I feel like South Jersey was missing one thing, and it's dangerous reptiles. Although crocodiles are delicious, I will say.
Okay.
Alligator, rather. Alligator. Super
Alligator?
light. Blackened alligator, or else like a good deep fried alligator. Good stuff.
I've never had, but I did have buffalo.
Buffalo's good
Yes,
too. I've had
buffalo's
buffalo.
good.
Emu's also very good.
Okay.
But yeah, you go down to Louisiana, you can get like blackened or deep fried alligator, but it tastes like chicken. I know
Tastes
that's
like
the thing that
chicken.
people say all the time. But it's
Everything
true, it
tastes
does.
like chicken.
Chicken of
That's
the
because
swamp.
chicken
don't you know?
has no taste.
That's true.
So chicken only tastes like
You've heard of chicken of the sea.
Yeah,
it's chicken of the
it's the
swamp.
chicken of the swamp.
Yeah.
Alligator is the chicken of the swamp.
That's right. Anyway, this has been a pretty extended.
It has
cut
been.
but Rob had a lot to regale us with.
Yeah.
He had his power and strength.
Power and strength,
Power
Trey?
and
Is that
strength saber.
what do we get?
Power and defense.
Power and defense.
Either way,
Either way.
I've got a nice
You have Princess
beautiful
Leia's
replica of
a
Leia.
yeah.
Power and control.
we were all off.
Those are all Sith.
Yeah.
Sith principles, right? Interesting. You went Sith. You went very Sith. Power and control.
We did, which is why we didn't want to go with the red blade.
Right. No, sure.
Um,
I get that. Well,
and-
the interesting thing, if you look like into like the lore of Mace Windu with his purple blade,
Okay.
he like his whole thing, like the whole thing about Mace Windu was he like danced and flirted with the dark side,
Oh, okay.
but he never allowed himself. That was his whole form, was that he allowed himself to use and tap into parts of that, but never succumb to it.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where that purple blade came from. And so, having the power and control with the purple blade makes total sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Look at that. See that? I am true Mace Windu.
You
in
are
that
a
aspect.
true Windu.
Yeah.
Windu. What do they call you?
Disciple.
Disciple.
Yeah,
that's the
there you
one,
go.
Disciple,
Yeah.
a Windu disciple.
So when I do retire, one of the jobs that I will be applying for in Disney would be the guy who
The lightsaber
walks you
creator.
through the lightsaber creation, because he was fun. And I'm sure all the people that work there, like there's like helpers that were helping like 3 people at a time. I'm sure they all alternate between who's the one that actually gets to do all the talking this
Sure.
time and who's the one that has to just stand in the back and go, put your blade in here now, you
Yeah.
know? So, but yeah, so it was fun and I would totally do that. The other one that I want to do is drive the river boats.
Mhm.
Because that's a fun one because you get to say a lot of really dumb puns and
Cool.
whatever,
Love dumb puns.
which are tons of fun.
Sure.
And then the third job that I would apply for would be monorail driver. Those
Oh,
are
yeah?
the 3. Yeah.
Can't imagine there's a whole lot of driving that goes on with monorail drivers.
So I like looked it up and it's intense.
I'm sure there's training. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
safety training and
because
stuff,
like
but
you don't have to turn left and right, but you have to make sure you don't run into the other monorails.
sure.
They apparently don't like it very much if there's a monorail collision.
Weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So you have to like pace out your speed. You have to make sure that, there's no sensors that are going off telling you, watch out, there's something on the track in front of you, because if you hit something, then they get mad at you for it. So
The mouse does not abide.
the mouse does not abide, not at all.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so that's that. So for a show about nothing, it turned out to be a very long
Maybe
and
one of our longest shows.
Yes.
Actually.
and it was a lot of fun.
A lot of stuff going on for
A lot of
sure.
stuff going
Rob
on.
had a lot to report on. We'll be
Yeah.
back for sure. There's more Star Wars stuff coming in the very distant, not so distant future, right?
Right, we got Andor coming up
Andor's
soon.
coming like sooner than you'd think. Then
Yeah,
by the end
and
of the year, there's
also,
Mandalorian
isn't
season
there like
3,
more
Ahsoka.
cartoons? A couple of cartoons.
Yeah, so the I think what's the anime they put out? Visions.
Visions.
They're putting out new Visions. I think there's a new Bad Batch season coming out.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's
The
there's,
droids.
Oh yeah, there's a new like kids version.
yeah.
Thing. So now that I'm having a kid, it's
Yeah,
gonna be right up my alley.
you're gonna be watching all the kids
I
stuff.
think my kid is somehow gonna be into Star Wars.
I think they're gonna be forced into it,
Yeah,
considering
the Forced.
considering all their clothes are gonna have Rebel and Imperial logos all
yeah.
over them.
Yep.
Yes.
Better believe it. Well, Rob threatens us all with his menacing lightsaber.
That
over
is
there.
right. With my now that it has the red crystal in it, because
That's
Trey opened it up yet again and switched crystals.
Listen, man, you got the crystals. You might as well change them.
Might as well
Just
switch them
saying.
up.
Either way, it's been a delight. Thank you, Rob, for your field reporting.
One last thing, by the way, just for those of you who decide to go and build your own lightsaber, if you want to get other crystals for it, make sure you do it in Batu, because we looked all over the place afterwards. We decided, oh, you know what? Maybe we'll get the green crystal or the blue crystal also. We could not find them anywhere else in the parks anywhere, which is shocking to me, because I feel like the mouse puts all of their stuff
Yeah, they're
everywhere.
trying to get, but like you could not find crystals in different parks.
No, and even in Disney Springs, they had 2 Star Wars stores in Disney Springs, and neither of them had crystals or even the holocrons. They
Sure.
weren't in either of the stores either. It was mostly just like clothing and stuff like that. So
now you know.
now you know. If you want to get more crystals, make sure you do it in Batu, in Dark Spires, Black
Yes, indeed.
Spires,
Black Spire
Yes.
Outpost.
Black Spire Outpost.
That's right. Either way, it's been a product filled and
Yes.
and mouse filled. The mouse has been fed.
The mouse has been fed.
The mouse
yes.
needs to realize what we've done for him.
This whole
this
episode was about
episode.
all the things we bought
From the mouse. That's it.
Yes.
Lots of money went to Walt and Co. today.
Yes.
Either way, it's been a delight. Rob, thank you for your field reporting. We'll be back with more Star Wars info before you know it. From all of us here at BanthaMilk Podcast headquarters, we have spoken.